All right, what's going on, y'all? Looks like we are live. Hello, everyone. Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are across the world. Do me a favor when you get on, please share this live out. We got a very, very special live coming on. I ain't done a live in a couple weeks, so happy to see everybody. See some folks jumping on. Do me a favor when you get on, share this out, drop a comment, put it in someone's DM, because it's a very, very, very important conversation we are going to have for entrepreneurs. Accept this request. Right. See the folks coming on. There we go. Hey Taylor, how you doing?
Hey Ryan, how are you?
Doing good. Thank you so much.
Good.
How's your day going?
It's been going good. No complaints.
That's good. All right, that's great. All right, I see some folks jumping on. Like I said, if you come on, do me a favor,
Hello.
share this out, drop it in someone's DM. This is a very, very, very important conversation, especially for entrepreneurs, service-based, e-commerce. If you have a team, if you don't have a team, we're going to be talking about how you can grow and scale your business with SOPs, systems, operations, and so forth. So before we get started, for those that, of course, don't know who you are, definitely just give some background, where you're from and stuff like that.
Hey y'all. So I'm Taylor. I am the CEO and founder of Taylor Business Solutions. And I am from Baltimore. Hey y'all, if y'all from Baltimore here. Shout out to the DMV. And so I started Taylor Business Solutions in 2017, of course, as a solution to help a lot of Black-owned businesses really get their back-end operations together, right? Because there's a stigma that as a Black-owned business owner or entrepreneur that we don't have our ish together in business. And for me, it was really like I see so many amazing businesses, right? And they really try their best to give the best customer service, but the thing that they're really lacking on the back end is having their processes and their system together. And that's what really causes like that stigma of us not having our stuff together. So that's where it really came from.
Mm.
Hey Ari.
All
Shout
right.
out
Shout out to Baltimore. Baltimore and Philly is like cousins. So
to right.
shout out to Baltimore. Everybody in here, you can drop where you from. East Coast, West Coast, down south. If you're international, wherever you at, feel free to drop your city and stuff like that. So I love what you do. You definitely helped me a lot already. Still got more work to do, but I'm definitely curious on like, I know you told me a little bit, but like,
Mhm.
how did you even get started in this? You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying?
God.
Most
Yeah.
people, when they get in business, they don't necessarily go into this lane and do what you do. It's so
Mhm.
needed. That's why, you're in a really niche market and you're like, the lane is wide open. But how did you get started doing like what you do now?
It's so crazy. So I started out like in my 9 to 5. I was in the hospitality industry and in property management. And so being in property management, it was really like we had CRM systems and things like that. We had really a system for how we sell and the customers experienced us. So it started there, but then I had a friend who was working in the same at the same job and they decided to leave to be an entrepreneur and they opened up a storefront. And so when they opened the storefront, they was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I just know that I have this grand idea. I can make money, and I'm just not as organized on the back end. So, I need somebody to help me. And so, on the back end, I was really thinking about, okay, if you're opening the storefront, what does that look like for your team? Okay, if you're having a team come in, what does that look like revenue to sustain a team, right? So now you have that. What does the systems look like on the back end to help your business run? Now we have that. Now, what does training look like? What is this going to look like to standardize everything so that there can be a system and everybody can be on the same page? And so I worked on the back end, really helping her figure that out. And then once we had that set in stone, we tested a lot of things out. Now we're like, okay, we have the back end together. Now about the money. And so what I realized is once we got the back end, the processes, the training manuals done, we got the systems down packed. It was like, all right, now we got to think about the money and the customer journey. And so within the first 3 months, I helped her make an additional 16,000 in a month. And so she was like, you know what? You really helped me with the back end to help me see the money on the front end. So this is something you're good at. And I'm just thinking like, I guess I'm good, but okay.
Right.
So then I helped her and then she told somebody else and then I was helping them and they was like, yo, like this is what you should really do. So that's how it really started, just having someone for brick and mortar. And then she actually started an academy after that. So we applied those same principles from that brick and mortar to that online business.
Mm, that's interesting.
Yeah.
15K just like that. And I know
Yeah.
a lot of other people get a lot of results. So that is amazing, definitely.
Hmm.
So what was it that it was like, all right, I know you talked about a little bit, but what is it, was it like, I want to actually do like this as like a business. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Easy to like side hustle and like hustle
Hmm.
extra money and stuff like that. But like, was it just like a shift? Like, I make a decision, I'm going to do it. Did it like start with like 2 people, 3 people, then like 10 and 20, and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So like, what was it? What was that like? Was like, I want to actually make this like a legitimate business and like really put your flag in the sand with that.
Yeah, so I helped her for a couple of months and I actually started out in another industry. Funny thing, I was in the beauty industry. I was a makeup artist. And it was like helping her. I saw the growth and she's like, you should really do this. I think you should do it. So then I tested it out with another friend who was becoming an entrepreneur. And then I saw how much it really helped her business. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Let me pray on this because I'm a God fearing woman. I was like, let me not just do this for fun. Let me
Right.
make sure this is the thing to do. And it just came to me like, okay, you should really do this. And like once I announced it, because I had been working with like a couple people on the back end and been helping them. Once I announced it, people was like, oh, like that's what I've been missing. Like this makes sense because I don't have my back end together. I feel like I'm scattered. And I started working out with like a lot of coaches and consultants because we take on a lot of clients sometimes past our capacity. And we like, oh, we can handle all these people. We can do this, we can do that. But it's like you're so involved in it that you can't even see the outside and see the things that need to go on in the background as far as your systems and your processes. So once we got to that point, it was like, okay, this is it. And then it just kind of picked up. I would say I got really blessed doing it because it was like I had that one friend and then I tested a few after that and then it just kept going. So for me, once I started to actually see the results and I could dive into the pain point of like, what is this exactly? Why are people saying these things? Why is it so hard for us to have our back end together? And it was like, okay, that's systems, processes, procedures, and automation. Like, there you go. Now let's just organize this and make this a bomb operation.
Right. And that's what you've been doing.
Right.
So, I'll get value out of this conversation. Do me a favor, drop a comment down, drop an emoji, a gem, whatever the case may be. So you already got to check out your page so I can set up a conversation. Yeah, do that now. You know what I'm saying? To come right back. But yeah, definitely go to her page, schedule a consultation. She gives the truth. I definitely work with her. She's helped me with my systems operations and stuff like that. So why do you think businesses don't have their stuff together? You know what I'm saying? Like I have my reasons on why
Right.
I a lot of my stuff wasn't together. It definitely was a lot
Mhm.
of and stuff like that. But like, why is there so many businesses systems jacked up?
Because I think we focus on the money first. I think instead of being taught, like, get your back end together first, a lot of times on these IG streets and Facebook streets, it's like, get the money, run to the sale, run to the sale. And it's like, okay, cool. Now we have the sale. So what's the strategy for retention? What's the strategy to make my job easier as I acquire each client? I retain them. Like, what does that look like for my team to really understand what we do and how we serve our clients and our customers and how we continue to grow in this scale. So that's the biggest thing I see. And a lot of people don't really know the systems that they need in their business. They don't really have time to do the research to say, okay, this is what I need. They might Google something real quick and they might be like, all right, let me just try this. Like, this is cool. But then it's like, I don't really know if this is working, but it's working temporarily, but let's just run with this. And they don't really go back and audit actually like the things that they're doing to see if it's still making sense for the business and the way that they're trying to go.
Yeah, I love that. And that's how I am too. And be like I'm focused on the money so much. You
Yeah.
focus on giving results and like a great customer experience. A lot of people miss that part too. But
Hmm.
I definitely, focus on the money. Like, all right, we'll figure the rest out later on. You know what I'm saying? So I think that is important. And I don't see enough people out here on IG, Facebook, social talking about stuff. Yeah, it's like, yeah, make the money, make as much money as you can, acquire as many customers as you can, run the bag up,
Hmm.
but not, how to actually systemize it, how to create operations, how to actually deliver the product or service. And that's easily the quickest way to go out of business when you start is
Hmm.
build. And that's product or service.
Right.
Could
And
be either.
and that's cool to focus on the money and everything, but I'm gonna tell you, as you begin to scale and you focus on the money and business growth, you're gonna be coming back to me. You're gonna be saying, you know what, I'm growing and all these things are happening, but what's going on? Like, all right, now I'm at a kind of like you plateau, you can't get past this ceiling because it's like now I've really got to get down and narrow down on my systems, my processes, like really see who I need on my team, what they're actually doing, and things like that. And then you're going to be working backwards instead of laying that foundation first, or as you're doing your sales, having, maybe if it's a sales day and you focus on the money, that's cool, but also focus on what is this process that looks like for the sale process. What does this look like with the customer conversion and all of those things? Like those things are important because you're gonna be hitting yourself in the like slapping yourself like, what am I doing? Like, how did I get here? And now I gotta work backwards. So I always try to get people not to work backwards. Like set the foundation first or simultaneously with your sales, and that way you won't have to go back to the drawing board too much. You may have to pivot and change up some things, but you're not gonna start from scratch.
I love that. All right, quick question. On average, how many systems would you say your business needs?
That's a good question. For product based and service, like sometimes it's a little different because I know there are like apps and stuff with Shopify and things of that nature. But honestly, I feel like you could get to 5 systems, right? Max. And you can really use Zapier to help integrate those systems. It's so many things you can do on the back end so that you don't have to work out of too many systems. Like really think about what's needed and how they can work. And if that's 3 systems doing one action, now we need to figure out how to at least get to 1 system or 2 systems to complete the actions that you need. You really don't need all these systems because what you'll realize is throughout the day, you're just in different tabs. And it's like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm all over the place. And then it's confusion and then things start falling through the crack.
Mm. I hope that answered your question. If anybody any the questions, yeah, just drop them down. We'll definitely do an official Q&A at the end if y'all got, any other questions. But what do you think is like one of the biggest mistakes, or do you see like a common trend when people come to you, or like this is like a main thing that stands out, or like a huge mistake that you see a lot of people make?
The biggest mistake I see people make is like trying to bring on a team member, like a VA, a contractor, or an employee, and they're like, okay, I know what I do. I'm so used to doing all of these things. How do I show them? And then a lot of them get frustrated with their team and they're going on a firing spree. But it's like, how can you fire your team when you haven't really set them up to be successful? And
Mm. Hold on. Pause. I know we got Joy here too. I don't know if Joy's still on. HR Queen. She probably loves that you said that. So say that again because people don't understand what you just said. Sorry. Please say that again.
so the thing is like a lot of people go on a firing spree or they get upset with their team and they want to get rid of them. But it's like, how can you fire them or get rid of them when you haven't set them up to be successful? And that's what I see a lot. Like people are like, oh, they feel like they got to like micromanage their team or say, oh, this person doesn't know this. And I don't get how they don't understand. But it's like you only trained them once on the onset and you really didn't get them a thorough training. They still have thousands of questions after. And mind you, questions are fine. But I feel like if you're bringing on a team member, you have your trainings together, you have your systems, your processes, like you literally have everything. You've given them the recipe to duplicate yourself. There's no reason for them to have 1,000 of questions. They're going to have a few because they're still trying to understand. But if you're doing regular trainings and really preparing them to run your business when you're not there, or even when you're there, there's no reason to like be firing these people. So that's what I see a lot. Like people just like, oh, they gotta go, they're not working out. And I'm like, really? Let's go back, let's see what you did to prep them for working with you.
Yeah, that's facts. And I know I need to be better at that. Like you say, training them and onboarding them. And you should have your systems, your operations or whatever set up where it's like anybody can come into that system and be successful and like do the job. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Like, and you're not so dependent on a certain person. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Whatever role you have in your company, if that person leaves, a project manager or operations
Yes.
manager or whatever it is, BA, whatever, and then they leave, you should have a good system in place that they can come right in and just work in that system. So that is why you need people like Taylor to get your systems, on point because I see it all the time. I've let people go and maybe I shouldn't have and stuff like that. And I always try to catch myself like, did I do everything to help them be successful? And I know how it is when you first start out.
Right.
When you're hiring a team and stuff like that, most of us don't know what we're doing. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I didn't, when I first hired my first person, I didn't know what the heck I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I know I needed help, but my main thing was like, I just need a person. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It was like not, but as we level up, the CEOs and like scaling, it's not just about getting a person, it's about getting a system and operation, training them, onboarding them, everything like that. And not just training them the first time, like you said,
Right.
when they come on, but actually doing regular trainings and stuff like that is important.
And I
Uh,
would say, as you grow, or if you're starting a business, like eventually you might want to hire a team and things like that, start documenting what you do in the business, right? Because it's going to be so much easier than saying, okay, I hired this person. Now let me go hurry up and write some stuff down so they can understand how the business go. Like that's I'm telling you, it's going to save your life to just start writing down what you do, put it in a Google Doc and say, okay, this is what I do on a day-to-day basis or what this looks like, because it's kind of like looking at your exit strategy before you actually exit. And it's really going to help you in the future.
I love that. All right, can you tell us a little bit about the different services you have? I just did a quick glimpse. She ready.
Oh,
She-
should we do that now? Or should we save it for the end?
yeah, I mean, we can wait if you want, but I'm a marketer, so if she ready, listen, drop the link right now.
Yeah.
Hey, right
Okay.
now, just done for you package right now. She about to drop the link for you. I definitely need a system. I think this is why I bang my head against the wall. Hold on, that shit going too fast now. I definitely need a system. I think why I bang my head against the wall. Basics every other day, and the people I'm hiring to coach me isn't right. Yeah, you definitely need the system. All
Yeah.
right. You can wait.
All right.
Good.
So I would say, all right, what I want you to do is schedule a consultation. I have availability this week. Let's talk this week so I can see where you are, what's going on, and then the next thing I would want to do is a business operation strategy session with you, right? Because before I bring people on or I just go into their business, I'm not the person that just wants to take your money. I want to go in and actually see what's happening, take a deeper dive, and then we go into the next steps. A VIP day could be good for you, or you might be a person that's like, I need done for you services. So it really just depends on where you at and how I can look at your business and see if VIP is for you, if you're more hands on, if you're hands off, and we'll go from there. So let's do that first.
All right. Said this is great information. All right. So if this is great information, if y'all getting value, I need y'all to share this out. Do me a favor, share it, put it in someone's DM, put it in your story, whatever the case may be. Taylor got some great information. That's why I'm glad we're going to be doing some other stuff to really get this message out to more people. Because as you see, this is something that businesses need so much, when it's not many people, especially
Mm-hmm.
people like us, talking about this stuff, actually experts in it, and
Yeah.
actually, helping people with it. Um, what was my other question? So what are, I guess, like top three things like right now, people could do, if they want to get better systems, want to get operations, of course, bringing on the right team members, getting the operation in place, but what are some other things maybe that people like thinking outside the box that people could do that, not just thinking about?
As far as systems, right? The things that
Mm.
they do. Um, so I would say, I'm sorry, I'm reading the comments, so it kind of distracted me. My bad,
Yeah,
Ryan.
trying to get on your calendar, like for real.
I'm sorry. Let me just answer this. So y'all can click the link in my bio and go under consultation, and you can schedule a consultation there. I don't want to be like I'm talking and ignore y'all. So sorry.
Good.
Um, and you can DMs. I don't prefer DMs because sometimes they get lost. But the best way is to click the link in the bio. But I'm not anti DM. So if that works for you, go ahead, send a DM, and I'll see you the link when we get off. So back to your question, Ryan. Can you ask me one more time? I'm so sorry.
All right. And while I'm asking, if you want to type the link, if you can, then I can pin it to the chat.
Okay, cool. I'll do that. Okay, I'm ready for your question again. I'm so sorry.
No, good. So I guess what are some maybe outside the box things, where people can do to get better systems, maybe something that they're not thinking about or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So what I would say like out of the box, and I think this is not necessarily a system, right? And this is something that I realized working with people who are more, I guess, creative and not, I would say, don't really feel like writing things down. So I had a few clients that's like, I want to do my processes. I want to write them down. Google Doc doesn't work for me. Writing them on a piece of paper is just too much, or putting them on my computer in pages or whatever is too much. So I recommended them to have their SOPs transcribed, or their processes. So basically, you just speak into an app, and it's like you're talking like step one, step two, step three, and you'll have an app that can transcribe them for you. Now, sometimes you do have to go back and edit that, of course, because sometimes, depending on like if you have an accent or it might be a language barrier or something like that, it may not necessarily pick it up. But Otter AI is really good for transcribing like your systems and like your processes. In terms of systems, with doing something, which I would say, if you're not too familiar with systems and you don't know what worked best, I would say start off with something like Trello. um, Trello is really good for documenting. So it's more like a project management type of thing, where you'll use, like, say, Loom, right? If you have team trainings, you can go into Loom and screen record and do those things, and then move them over to Trello and create a training library in Trello. You'll have your processes, your SOPs, checklists, and everything in a resource hub where everything, your operations, is there. If you don't necessarily use a software system. Also, another creative way for, to integrate your systems and your SOPs is something like a project management system like Teamwork, Monday. Those are other creative ways outside of the box that, like, people may not necessarily talk about. ClickUp as well, because, for instance, Trainual is a system where you have your SOPs, your training, and all of those things. But sometimes people are like, look, I'm trying to look for something cost effective right now. I know I need to have this done, but let me see how I can get creative with free resources or low cost resources. So those are some of the things and ways that I would say, to start, building out your systems, and then say, okay, now I have all my SOPs and I have all these things here. Now let me look into, like, the higher end systems to move it over. So I hope that makes sense to answer your question.
Yeah. So much that I love ClickUp. If you have a favorite system or tool, I want you to drop it down. My favorite PM system is Teamwork. That's what we use. I've used ClickUp. It's not my favorite, to be honest. People love it. If people be getting on me like, you don't like ClickUp, you don't like ClickUp, it's like, maybe
Yeah.
too much for me. You know what I'm saying? But people love it. I know people that use Monday and Asana and that type of stuff.
Hmm.
But if you got a favorite tool that you use, feel free to drop. Anybody can drop it down.
I
Let
think I like ClickUp a little bit. So I guess I like it because I like the workspaces and stuff you can do. But it's a lot going on. Like, if you're a first timer, you got to really navigate through that and try it out. So I think it's a great system. But for me, it's a lot happening at one time. And I'm like, okay, how can I make this make sense? Yeah, it does take a while. But I'm glad you got it figured out. Because once you get it figured out, it's like, okay, this makes sense.
yeah, for me, that's how I was. I was like, this is too much for me. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's a
not
lot happening.
going on. Like, I know it's a great tool and you can like do a lot of automation and that type of stuff.
Yeah.
It was like, I'll stick with Teamwork.
I love Teamwork too, though. Teamwork is a great one.
I like Teamwork.
Yeah.
I've used Asana. Asana is similar to Teamwork. I've never used Monday. And of course, we use Slack, and that type of
Yeah.
stuff. I've used Trello boards and stuff before. Um, so, are there different systems and operations if, like, you're someone's e-commerce, or like I sell products, or like I'm a service based where I'm a coach? Like, I know it's probably people like, well, it's different for me because I am this type of business, or
That's a good
what would you
question.
say?
Yeah. So, with service based, oftentimes what you want to have is a CRM system, of course. So that's somewhere to house your leads and keep them. A project management system, of course, as well. Now, I feel like when it comes to e-commerce, or a lot of my e-commerce clients, it just depends on, like, how you have your business model set up. So I know previously, e-com people, they had a CRM system, and they would call their customers as well, or have like a call center or somebody that would call to follow up with them. Now we know it's a lot of spam and stuff like that, so it's kind of weird with phone calls, and people don't really want them as much. So when it comes to e, it's more like, I would say, your email for sure, like those text marketing systems. I personally would say if it has an element where you can connect like a CRM system, I think that would be good because it's good for collecting that data. Unless you can figure out like you can get birthdays and things like that, so you can further market and reach out to your customer. So it is different, right? Because typically with a e-commerce brand, you wouldn't necessarily have a project management system unless you're doing like a big launch or something and you want to manage the things surrounding your e-commerce launch or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Great. I see some more folks joining. Yeah, that's a great response. If anybody has any other questions, feel free to drop them down. I think I only got a few more questions. You answer all my questions efficiently. So I know you talked a little bit about client success stories, but what else have you seen as far as like when you do implement this stuff, like how businesses scale, how they're able to bring on more team, just what are some of the, more back end stuff that you've seen just doing the work that you do?
The things that I've seen the most is really when people scale the delegation, and like I'm really seeing people take vacations. Like, because I think as entrepreneurs it's really tough for us to take vacations when we're either in service based or e-commerce. We're like, okay, how can we actually do this? How can we replace us? And I've seen people be able to take vacations, delegate everything or mostly everything to their team, and then they can really be like the visionary and the CEO behind the brand. So I would say that those are my greatest success stories, because the money is great, of course. Like, we need money to make the world run. We need to make our business grow. But when they actually have time to spend with their family, their friends, take vacations, and effectively delegate and stop just like firing people because they not doing their job. It's like, okay, now we really got a system and we know how this works to keep our team here, to retain our clients and customers.
Okay. What are some system recommendations for hairstylists that are privy to client retention and getting reviews feedback? That's a good question.
That's a really good question. So, I would say for stylists, really having a scheduling system, because I feel like, me personally, actually Bree is my stylist, who's on here, so she always get my hair right. But they really need a scheduling system. That's the first thing first. And I also feel like stylists need a CRM system too. Because I think if like stylists think outside of the box and really call their clients to follow up with them, to get their experience, to see what those things are like, that'll really enhance the beauty industry, or actually clients that are getting their hair done. So something like Acuity may be good. I don't know if like Calendly might be good for stylists, where you can really get those intake forms and connect those things to it. As far as reviews, it depends on your business. Like, if you do like Facebook reviews, or if you do Google, you can have a email marketing system. So like MailChimp may work for you. What else? MailerLite. It really just depends. And so what you can do is you can have those surveys go out through like SurveyMonkey. You can use Typeform. You can set up custom surveys and send that out to them to see what their experience was like. And they can leave you reviews. And on the back end, you can find out ways that you can improve. Or if you want them front facing, you can have them go out to the public so that they can see those reviews as well. So I
Mm,
hope that answers your question.
yeah, stylists know you also need a funnel.
Oh yeah, we got the funnel doctor. That I didn't even think about that. That's who y'all need to get to.
Definitely.
Y'all need to get Ryan.
Definitely. All right. So I only had a few more questions. You answered all my questions, and I love it.
Mhm.
What was my last question going to be? Oh, how often should someone audit their systems? Or it's like, all right, great, I hired you or whatever, and I got my systems in place.
Yep.
I'm great, I'm good. How often should they revisit it? Once a month, once
Mhm.
a quarter, once a year? Probably depends on how jacked up these systems are.
Right.
But what would you think is how often they should audit them?
I would say do quarterly audits, because I feel like as you go into the next thing, really looking at that to see, okay, are we rolling out something new this year? Does the system still align with what we have going on? Did we change some things on the back end that aren't necessarily working the way that we need to? And I think especially when you have, like, let's say you have some automations or some things like that, you really want to go in to make sure that they're still working efficiently. So like, let's say if you're in, let's just say for instance, service space, and you change your onboarding process for your clients or the offboarding process. You want to go in to make sure that those automations are working the way that they're supposed to, those links are working. So that way it decreases any error on the back end when that person is trying to work with you. So I would say definitely make sure you do quarterly audits. And then at the end of the year, hopefully you guys are doing annual planning, you can go in and say, okay, this is a system that worked for last year, but now we're eliminating this. So this is the one that we're going to be implementing. So that's what I would say. You know, it's not realistic sometimes to say, okay, we can do monthly audits because I know you guys are busy, but just definitely make sure you're doing that at least 4 times a year.
Mhm. That's what I would say as well. I agree. All right, does anybody have any last questions? I had a rack of questions and you went through them. Thank you so much. It's great information. Does anybody have any last questions? Anything else that we didn't discuss? Hey, I say like, hey, I have this type of business. What type of systems or processes and stuff like that would you recommend for me? If anybody has that, feel free to drop it down as well.
Yes, X away. I'm trying to look through. Oh, the comments disappeared. I don't see them no more. I saw more.
All right, let me see. Is there anything else that we missed? Uh, I don't think. I don't think we missed anything.
Okay, cool.
Any other last thoughts or words, or anything else to help the people with these systems operations? Like you gotta
Yeah.
get your operations in order, y'all.
I really want, if you guys are going into, you're looking to grow your business or you're looking to scale, please make sure that you guys are documented as you go. So even if later on you eliminate some of the things you do now, just document them. So even if that's just carving out 2 hours a week to just start documenting, and then let's say you have 20 different processes you do in your business. You're like, oh my God, this is too much. This is overwhelming. Just start with at least 2 per week, and then before you know it, you'll be able to have all your processes knocked out, because it's really going to set you up for the future, and really looking at the systems that will make sense for your business to go to the next level. So let's say you got this system you've been putting off for the past 6 months. Just make sure that you go in and you like, let me see how I can leverage this and implement this into my business to make sense with my processes.
hmm we got some good questions. I don't know if you can see them yet, but
I
uh,
can't. Something disappeared. I see. Okay, the one I see is I'm only at 20K a month, but I feel overwhelmed. Only 20K. I'm gonna need you not to say only.
right,
I'm gonna need you to hype yourself up. That's amazing.
the same thing.
um.
All right, so they said. Oh, let me go to the question before that,
Okay.
just so I don't lose it. Is QuickBooks a good system to keep up with finances?
So when it comes to accounting and things like that, I would say QuickBooks. Starting out, I use that, yes, but I have an amazing CPA. Ephraim has the EFS group. Shout out to Ephraim.
Hmm?
That is who y'all need to know, because he is gonna get your whole business and your whole life together. Okay, so if you don't move forward with him, just schedule a consultation. But QuickBooks is definitely good for starting to keep and maintain your books starting out.
And I second that. I am an EFS group client as well. So, Ephraim, I'm gonna need an affiliate for us shouting you out. No, I'm playing. Okay. So yeah, I agree. I used to use QuickBooks, and then they moved. So what is it, Zero? I guess they use.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think so.
so I like it. I mean, I don't manage my own books, so you
Yeah.
I really don't know either way. But I would say QuickBooks is definitely
Yeah,
top.
QuickBooks. And probably also something like a quick hack that I did as well when I first started out. I had a spreadsheet and I wrote down each expense that I had that was business related on that spreadsheet. And I would do like, I did it on Excel, and I would plug in that expense for the month. So I categorized it like January through December. And then I broke down each expense monthly in an Excel spreadsheet. So that could help you as well if you're not really ready to get a CPA just yet.
That's a good point. All right, so the person said I'm only at 20K a month, but I feel wow, only 20K. I have a cleaning business. What type of automation and system should I use?
So I guess I would want to know a little bit more about like your cleaning business. Is it just you? Do you have a team? And as far as the business, like how are you communicating with your clients? Like where are you acquiring them from? And do you have a CRM system? Like I'm going to tell everybody, like you need a CRM system, especially if you have a service-based business, because you want to have somewhere to house those leads and to house those people. And of course, you need an email marketing system. I mean, Ryan, you can probably speak to this to tell the best one. Like I say, MailChimp, I know Ryan like, it's okay, but I might be like Active Campaign or something like that. So I'm gonna leave that part with the marketing to Ryan.
I would say Active Campaign, Infusionsoft. I
Okay.
like those are like my top three. Mailchimp, you can get away with Mailchimp. Another one is Drip. There's like tons of them. I know you mentioned something like
Mhm.
Light and Aweber is one. SendGrid. There's like tons of them. My top three is Active Campaign, Infusionsoft, and Klaviyo. Klaviyo is specialized for ecom brands. I don't recommend Klaviyo. Don't tell Alyssa. I don't recommend Klaviyo unless you're a brand. But if you're not ecom brand, I would say Active Campaign or Infusionsoft.
And I would say for CRM systems, I'm not sure if you do like contracts or questionnaires and stuff like that, but Dubsado is really good. I improve Dubsado because it has automations and workflows and things already set up for you. So all you do is do a click of a button, or you can even have like a lead page or like questionnaire where as soon as they fill that out, the automation just starts. So that is one that if you want to integrate both. SalesMate is another one. So let's say if you have a scheduling system, I'm gonna say for instance like Acuity, you can connect that with Zapier to SalesMeet. And then it'll have your leads and everything run through. And they do have an email element. I wouldn't necessarily say it's email marketing, but they do have some automations within that. Another one is 17 Hats. I have experience with all of these, but my top, of course, is Dubsado. 17 Hats can do the same thing as far as sending out your contracts, sending out those follow up emails, and things like that. So I guess it just depends on your goal. And if I understand a little better, I could tell you like exactly like this is a system that you need to implement in your business.
Mm-hmm. All right, so can y'all drop his info? I guess it's efsgroup.com. I don't even know. Like,
Is it EFF? It might be. I know he's like E from CPA on here
yeah,
though.
look on Instagram, E from CPA. I think I saw Krista join earlier too. I don't know if she's still on. If Krista, if you on, you could drop the info. But yeah, just look on Instagram for E from CPA, and
Mhm.
then you can connect with him through Instagram, or the link's probably in his bio or whatever. You can Google EFS Group out of Houston,
Mhm.
and you can do that. All right. Any other questions? Great questions. Great conversation. Thank you so much for just jumping on. I know your schedule is very busy.
Thank you for having me.
So feel free to voice me after.
Thank you for having me. Thank you guys for all the questions. If you guys are interested or you want to learn more about our services at Taylor Business Solutions, you can click the link in the bio to schedule a consultation, or you can go to www.thetailoredbiz.com. I'd be happy to speak with you, or someone from my team will be happy to answer your questions that you may have after this live.
hmm And soon she about to start retargeting y'all. You about to start seeing her ads crazy in your feed. So already, she got some new funnels about to launch and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think I see any other questions. I'm going to save the live. So if anybody watched on the replay or any other questions, feel free to drop them down. Definitely make sure you
Yes.
follow her, make sure you book a call, and get your systems and operations in order. That's all I got to say.
Yes, and if you're not ready for services quite yet, I do have a training that'll get you started. It's $47. So if you like, I'm ready for consultation, I'm not ready for your services, you might want to join that first if you're trying to fill me out and fill out what we do, and then let's get you going.
Yep, definitely. So make sure y'all take advantage of that. Any other last words, feel free to share, but that's all I got. I think a lot of people got a lot of information, a lot of gems out of here, as always. So I'll let you get the final word.
I don't have too much. I just want to say, I know it's a lot of amazing businesses out here, and I really just want to help y'all get y'all stuff together. But if you don't take anything from me, just start documenting your processes. Really implementing those team trainings. Like, don't be fussing at your team. I know it's hard. And really start delegating. If you're trying to get your time back and you're trying not to be burnt out and overwhelmed, you have to start delegating. And that doesn't mean you have to spend tons of money on hiring people or going crazy. That might be HR. I know, Ryan, you know some HR person. That's not my zone of genius, but really getting people on your team that you can delegate to, writing those processes and looking into those systems that make sense for your business. If you're not sure, you're like, I don't really know about this system, like Google is one click away if you're not ready to reach out to me. So do your due diligence and get your operations together, because I know it's a lot of great businesses out here. So that's my little tidbit.
All right, make sure y'all take heed. Make sure y'all listen. Like, follow her. If you see this live, share it out. Book a call with her. If you're not ready for a call, she has her accelerator course. So make sure you take advantage of that. I know that's amazing as well. But other than that, y'all have a great night. Thank you so much, Taylor.
All right, thank you.